Complaints, say something nice, whatever, now's your chance. Anybody, anything they'd like to say? Okay, I don't know what's going on in the room, Mike. We got our sheriff and auditor making funny looks at each other, so. All right, well, we'll get started with the meeting then. First thing on the agenda, 2021 highway materials and supplies bid openings. Now, my understanding is we are not ready. Is that correct, Tammy? This will probably be tabled till the next meeting, the 17th, if we all agree to that.
Due to some absences at the highway department, they are running behind.
Yes.
And they do not have the summary that we thought would be available at this meeting together. So by the 17th, there should be a summary for you all to review and then make your actions and motions on.
All right. Everybody hear that? If you're here for that tonight, we're going to vote whether we want to table it or not. Mike, if you're there, Randy, anybody want to table that till the next meeting?
Yes.
So is that a motion to table?
Yeah.
Need a second?
Yeah, I'll second that. I think we've all discussed it before. We're going to look into the legality of even doing this. So, but yes, I'll second that motion.
Okay, that's unanimous, so it'll be tabled to the next meeting. Thank you. Number 2 on the list, River Hills EDC grant application update. Melissa.
Hello. Are you okay if I remove my mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just stand back.
Okay. I'm more concerned about Commissioner Jones hearing me also. So.
Yeah, I hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I have a couple of other things beyond the grant application, but I'll just go ahead and start from the beginning. On the income survey that we're supposed to be working on, the auditor's office is continuously working on a county-wide residential address list for us in order for us to get that started. So that's just kind of an update on that. And also to let you know, not that we would have been ready anyway, but typically there would have been a round due on April 15th, but the funding agency, the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, said no round in April. They already have too many applications. So the next available round would be July 15th. As far as we know, if the survey is not done by then, we could go in September. It's a quarterly application process. So just to kind of give you an update on that. On the COVID-19 response program grant, we did get that proposal submitted. We're waiting on Okra to get back with us on that. I'm sure there'll be a site visit and they'll let us know what we need to do to beef up the application. They have extended the application due date. It was February 26th, which we all thought was quite a quick turnaround from proposal. So they've extended it until March 11th, which is very good for everyone. What we do need to do is identify the exact amount and source of local match. We really need to do that by February 17th in order for me to get that in the public hearing notice that we'll need to put in the paper. I know there was discussion at the last meeting about a 10% local match, which would be about $27,778 from the redevelopment board.
We've been looking.
We've talked about that, and we're waiting on the attorney to get back with us to see if that's plausible with your TIF plan the way it's written. So kind of what I wanted to come tonight and ask was, if that is not allowable, are you all wanting to consider a local match from another source?
Well, I would be. Mike, you hear that?
Yeah, I would be too, but that would have to be finding some money from someplace.
Sure.
So we'd have to get with the council and find out where we can allocate the money.
Okay, kind of too, to give you, as far as the scoring process goes, they'll give you a point per percentage point up to 10. So that's kind of why we were looking at the 10% match. Just as kind of your advocate, and if you can't do 10, maybe back it off to 5, 6, or 7, whatever you all can do to beef up those points on your scoring of the application. So that's just what I would suggest if you're able to find the money, but we would want to just try, well, we have to nail it down between you all and council by the 17th in order for me to advertise for the public hearing in time.
I have talked to, via email, Karen Arland, our consultant, twice with that question. And I think she's going to be very thorough before, because typically the knee-jerk reaction is you can't provide direct assistance to an entity through the redevelopment funds. But should we be able to provide assistance to a fund that could provide assistance to, it's kind of, it would clear it. So, we're checking into all the options that we've got.
You gotta sharpen the pen, don't you? Yeah.
Very sharp.
Well, I hope we can, because I know we in the county want to help out any local business any way we can too. But like she said, we gotta do it the right way.
Sure,
So,
absolutely. So hopefully we would target getting that nailed down by your next commissioners meeting.
I would,
So you were talking in the area of 28,000.
It's around 28 for the 10%,
For
of
the
course,
10%.
about nearly half of that if you do 5%, somewhere in
Now-
between, you know.
when we meet on the 17th, the council will meet, when will they meet after
The
that?
9th.
I mean, after the 17th. I
the
mean, you
second
want an answer
Tuesday.
from us or them, one by the 17th.
Unless
You're
we,
going to council lunch.
I'll go to council next week, I'll go to council whenever I need
Okay.
council, but I know their meeting is next week. I think if it's after the 17th, it's gonna be
Yeah,
too
it
late
will
for
be.
our purposes.
Okay, so in other words, we need to have some, okay, we gotta have
It's
it done
the
by then,
9th or
one way or the
never.
other.
It's the 9th or never, or special meeting,
Yes.
you know, if you're
And
willing to
we-
do that.
When will we be able to meet on the redevelopment?
As long as I have 48 hours business notice, I'm good.
I mean,
So we
you're just
can-
waiting on Karen
I'm just waiting on
to give us
Karen.
the word, and then we can have a call a meeting and let you know something, hopefully before the council meets.
Won't have probably enough time to post, because this is Wednesday, and I'd have to have 48 business hours, so council meets Tuesday. If she
Okay.
would let me
All
know
right.
something tomorrow, I'd be fine.
Sure.
But
Okay.
I couldn't get a meeting together before council.
We'll stay closely
Yeah.
connected.
Tammy.
Yeah.
Tammy,
Yes, sir.
would there be any way to try, you know, if we can't get it through the TIF fund or the redevelopment, is there any way we could possibly, go to the tourist board and see if we can pull it from there?
I'm not for sure what the innkeeper's tax, the statute on what they're allowed to do with that. But if it is related to, well, I don't know that tourism is related to economic development or that. Now, if it would go possibly to one of the entities that's a hotel or somebody who would have suffered that way, if that happens to be one of, tourism might possibly be able to, somebody that's in the food service industry or the hotel or something that's related to tourism, they could possibly provide matches to those entities.
And
Well,
they
yeah, I
met,
guess-
they met
Well,
yesterday,
that's fine.
the tourism board met yesterday, so they'd have to have a special meeting too. Cause they meet once a
Right.
month.
Yeah, where I was going with that is, you know, the tourism board gives money, seems like, out to some, different source, or, you know, different identities sometimes, and it's kind of strange sometimes who they're giving it to and
Oh, really?
why they're giving it, but, I didn't know if that was something we could, maybe lean on them for, so maybe that's an option, maybe not, so.
Okay, I can, I'll put that down in my notes, Mike, to check out.
All right.
Just kind of moving on. So, Commissioner Jones, I had spoken with you previously about doing a public hearing on, I believe it was February 23rd. But now, because of the extension of the deadline and us needing to put in place the local match, I'd be looking at Tuesday, March 9th, which is just a couple of days before it's due. Is that okay with you and everybody else here?
Yep, March
Okay.
9th, fine.
Sometime in the afternoon, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. I'll
All right.
have that.
Let me know.
Okay, will do. I'll let you know. And then
All right.
lastly, and I will help work on this as well as the grant administrator, but I'm gonna need some letters and emails of support for this grant application. So if any of you personally know small business owners throughout the county who might, we can't guarantee them anything, even if you get funding. I mean, we don't know if they'll be eligible or not, but if they're willing to write a letter on how these funds might help them, how they support the project, please direct them my way.
I've already had
and-
one contact me.
Okay, good. So, I'd like to have between 5 and 10,
Yeah.
to support the application. So if we get more, that's great. I'll probably just attach the best 10 if we get more than that. So, just to kind of throw that out there. Lastly, this is kind of a last minute thing, and I know you all, I'm gonna talk a little bit about community crossings. I know you all have an active grant, through Community Crossings. River Hills has a history with working with communities, on community crossing grants. just, I believe it was yesterday, we typically have an annual contract with NDOT to do asset management plans for communities, help them prepare the application, and do the administration on the back end with this contract through NDOT. We have to apply for it every year. We believe, we have a meeting with them tomorrow, that we would be able to include Scott County as part of our application for that contract, to offer those services.
Did we not just miss a deadline on the latest one last Friday?
If you were just awarded, oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
No, from my indication, from what I was told from Jill, was that was already, the one for 2021 was sent.
It's my understanding you all were awarded around November.
Yes.
If that's the case, you wouldn't be able to apply this round. You have to be to a certain point with that most recent grant you were awarded before you can move forward, and it's my understanding you're not to that point. Yeah, so you'd probably be looking at later this year to submit your next request, as long as you're where you need to be with the current
Yeah.
award that you received. This contract would be for the fiscal year of 21-22, so it wouldn't include what you already have. It would be any potential grant applications you might have
So
go
even
in.
though there's a deadline, it wouldn't have affected us anyway.
This doesn't,
Yeah,
no.
okay.
We just found out yesterday it's time to submit the application for the contract, and it's due February 19th. So I just
Yeah.
need to gauge interest on your part, and are you okay with us including Scott County as part of our application to NDOT for that contract? If you're not,
I think
you
that's
know,
an easy one, but, do we need a motion on that, or just want to agree on it, Mike?
I don't know, when do you need to know that, Melissa? Because I'd rather wait till we get someone on board at the highway department and see what their thoughts are.
Uh-huh.
So our application is due February 19th through NDOT. What I will tell you is we have a call scheduled with them tomorrow because we have other communities that we would like to pull in on this contract. I can ask the question, you know, if we include you, but there's a decision later for some reason, you wouldn't want to be part of it, is that okay? If you're comfortable with that. If you're not, then, and you don't want us to include you as part of the
In other words,
application,
we could bail out,
I want to ask that I would want to ask that question.
yeah.
Yeah,
It is my understanding that if we included you, we do the asset management plan. That's Nick Creevy, who you all are familiar with. He does road counts, and Scott County is familiar with your roads,
I've
all
seen
of that. We would be able to prepare the application, and if you're awarded, could do the back-end administration, assist you with that. It'd be little or no cost to you if we get that NDOT contract for Scott County.
so what's the cost of writing the grant?
Well, if you're included on that contract between us and NDOT, I don't think there would be any cost for the writing of the grant. There may be a little bit of cost on the back end for administration, depending upon how much funding you receive. That's quite a bit of work, but NDOT does pay a good portion of the back end too.
Well, I guess I'm trying to figure out what a little cost is, because when I go buy a car, they say it just costs a little bit.
I understand, and I honestly, I can't answer that for you. I just know it's a good thing to be part of that contract between River Hills and NDOT, because NDOT essentially foots, if you don't have someone on staff who's knowledgeable and who knows how to do the work, and we have experience with that, and you're not having to pay, essentially, I say much, I mean, I don't even want to throw a number out there, but it would be nothing more than paying for our
But
work on the back end.
If I'm understanding you right, even if we vote to do this tonight, it can be set up to where we can change our mind.
I want to ask that question tomorrow of NDOT.
Okay.
So if
There's
you
no
all,
need to vote tonight then.
well, or you could do it tentative on my finding out from NDOT whether or not you could pull yourselves out of our contract if
Yeah.
we apply with you included, and if they say no and you're not comfortable with moving forward, then we just wouldn't include you. We want your blessing. We're not going to include you without your blessing.
Well, the only reason I'm even questioning this is that for since the beginning of the community crossing grant, we've always got the grant through our own office without doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, you know, when you said, hey, we can group you with other people, that's fine. But then what's the cost for it? Because before it was always built into somebody's salary that was writing the grant or filling out the paperwork and following up with it. So I guess that's where I'm just trying to figure out, if we hire somebody new and that person has the ability to do the same thing as we've done in the past, why would we pay for it? So, and I know that's what you guys are in business for, and you assisted us on a lot of other things. I'm just not trying to figure out what's the best way we need to proceed. So, I guess if you can find out if we can get out, if we hire somebody that says, hey, I can do that, and we'll do it on our own, or what the other two commissioners want to do. So that's my thought.
Okay,
Well, if you've got till the 19th, is that what you said?
that's when we need to
And we
submit.
have another meeting the 17th. I mean, we could,
How much time do you need in between?
That is a good question. Nick's the one preparing that application, so, but I mean, I should know tomorrow from NDOT. So if you all wanted to, I kinda know which way you would wanna go, and then you can make a affirmative motion at your 17th meeting in order to make it official of whether you wanna go in or not go in type
Yeah.
thing. But kind of tomorrow, if we find out from NDOT, you could pull, and you're okay with us including you, knowing you could pull out if you needed to, then we could just proceed with including you, and I could come back the 17th for you to make that official motion, if that's
so
what you want me to do.
you'd like to have a tentative vote, correct?
I think so, just so I know what to ask NDOT tomorrow, you know, just make it tentative on what, and how NDOT
Kinda-
answers that question.
You hear that, Mike?
Yeah, I heard that. I'm fine with that. I just, like I said, I don't know the cost, and I don't know, you know, but I'm fine with saying tentatively, but I want to have an avenue out. If we hire somebody that says, hey, I can do that, and
Sure.
we can continue to doing it like we've done in the past and not cost us anything.
All right, I need
Make a motion.
Mike made a motion to accept this tentatively. Need a second?
I'll second.
And I'll make it unanimous, so there you go, tentative vote, okay?
Okay, thank you, and I will email all of you, including Tammy, on what NDOT, how NDOT responds, so we'll kind of know which direction we're going moving forward, and I'll be at that next meeting anyway, so. I think that was all I had for tonight, so thank you for your time.
Just curious, are you writing grants for other counties and communities for this
Yeah,
community crossing?
we just, helped, Palmyra, and, they were awarded recently with one that we had prepared, and then, I can't remember if it's Elizabeth or Laconia, somewhere in Harrison County.
Okay.
And again, I'm the third
Probably
man out
Elizabeth.
in our office. I am going to learn the community crossings, but there's two in our office that work on it.
Okay.
And they're
You've
very
had some
familiar.
success with it.
What's that? I'm
You've
sorry.
had some success.
Oh,
with it.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So, and
Okay.
we're gonna be approaching some other local communities who we think could use the help, so.
There might be some people missing out.
Yeah, and we don't want that, because we're there to help if we can, so.
All right.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
Yep,
you very
thanks.
much. Looks like we need a sheriff update. Howdy, howdy.
How you doing? Pretty good, pretty good.
Sheriff Gooden's here, Mike.
Hey, Mikey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my mask on, so. First thing I got is I think Tammy emailed the commissary report.
They've got it in their packet.
Yeah, you can look over that. Basically, what it says is that, we ended the balance at the end of the year of, $30,153.32. So, and it's got obviously the disbursements and all that's listed up above. If you look at that, if you've got any questions, you know what I'm saying, just let me know. It's kind of self-explanatory, you know what I'm saying, what it is.
Yeah, it meets the requirements from the State Board of Accounts, right?
So, alrighty, we will move on. If that's all right, Randy, you got that, brother?
I don't think you need our approval on this. You just have to
No,
show
yeah, I
it
just
to
had
us.
to, yeah, I'll give it to you. So, the next thing I was going to talk to you about is this. The state of Indiana has offered us the opportunity to be able to do COVID testing at the jail. To like when we bring somebody in, and we can even use it on our own employees. And it's a rapid test is what it is. It's not like the 3-day thing that you have to wait for, okay? I am all for that. The only problem we had was with it is that we don't want to be bringing people into jail to test them if they got COVID, because once they get into the jail,
Too late.
too late, yeah. And another thing that we need to change is that we've got our BAC Data Master, the breathalyzer machine that you bring people who are intoxicated in and test them on. That is inside of the jail portion of the jail. So whenever you bring somebody in to give them a BAC test, they blow into the tube and they cough and they, you know what I'm saying? We need to get that out of there.
So whether they're guilty or innocent, they're exposing.
They're exposing us to it, yes.
people, Yeah.
So what I hope to do is when you pull into the Sally Port there at the jail, to the left, there was a storage room there that's been there for obviously forever, and it's just junk storage. So we've cleaned that out. And what I want to do is I want to build a COVID testing station room in there and also move the BAC Data Master there. That way, whenever they bring a prisoner in or they bring somebody who needs to be tested, we don't have to worry about them coming into the jail and contaminating everybody. They'll be right outside to be able to do it, so.
Good idea.
And then, if I can get your guys' approval, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hopefully get some money from the council next Tuesday to be able to finish it out. It's not gonna be very expensive, because we've got everything we need, you know, basically, you know what I'm saying, to do it already, because of BAC Data
Maybe a
Master,
little
obviously.
may help, Mike,
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely, absolutely. So if you can give me the approval to do that, we will, you know what I'm saying? We'll get it rolling.
So what he's asking is, he's concerned about people coming in to be tested, state police, city police, bringing people in to be tested for alcohol. And the process that's set up back in the jail now, where they're exposing other inmates and your personnel, and you're asking to put it out in the Sally Port. There's a room there as soon as they pull in, and will have to be converted. So any questions before we vote?
Jerry, do you have any kind of idea of how much money you're talking?
I think it's gonna be probably less than 5,000.
Okay.
That's just a rough guess, because the only thing that, everything's out there already. The only thing we have to do is make a drain for a sink. That's the only thing really that we have to add to it, so.
Okay. Well, I don't have a problem with that as long as the council can find you the money.
Okay.
Need a motion?
Even if the council can't find the money, we will probably try to go ahead and do it, your guys' approval with our stuff, you know what I'm saying, Mike?
Yep,
Randy made a motion to approve,
I'll second it.
and I'll make it unanimous. Approved.
Okay, good deal. Two things left. One of them is we want to establish a safe exchange parking area. And it would be in the back, behind where the 911 center is. If you go right behind that, the parking lot, the county parking lot, there is a cage, it's got the generator in it. What we would want to do is use those next two spots for a safety exchange area. What we'll do is we will paint a square that says safety exchange. And what it is this, it's whenever somebody exchanges their kids for child support or for child visitation, if somebody's on eBay and they don't feel comfortable meeting some guy that's on the internet at somewhere to exchange the phone they sold or whatever it is, they will be able to come to that area and park, and there's a camera on it. And they went, Jeff can speak about this too. The camera actually goes to your guys' computer system, correct? So we've got the area,
And quite often that's ordered by a judge for people to meet over there in your lots, so.
literally, this might sound silly, but we get requests on a regular basis. I mean, regular basis. Can you be at such and such place at 6 o'clock? Because I've got my,
Yeah.
you know, problem, or, you know, people call and say, do you care if we meet somebody in the front of the jail? So this here will actually establish an area that's got a camera on it.
Okay.
And we'll be able to monitor that and make sure that nothing happens. And if something does happen, obviously we'll have it on film.
So
to
just
be
a
able to
couple
document it.
spaces?
Two spaces.
Well, you have to do some painting or?
All we're gonna do is we're gonna paint a big orange box, and inside that box, we'll put exchange zone. And then we've got some signs that we've got ordered that'll say what it is, exchange zone area only.
So the money's in place?
We got it, we're gonna take care of it.
So what happens, is somebody gonna be viewing this while this is going on at that time?
Well-
or-
Jeff, do you guys have to keep that pulled up all the time on your cameras?
It is, and it's actually, it's one of the few cameras that are recorded.
So, I'm not gonna say we got somebody that's gonna be sitting there with eyes on 24 hours, but the thing about it is this, if we get a call on it, if something happens, we can always rewind the video and do it.
And it's as at this very moment, that you're no different. You just got a designated spot you can watch them, have a better view on, because they're liable to be in the other parking lot the way it is now, or
And we don't have.
anywhere
any-
around the jail, and you won't know it till later unless somebody calls you. At
And-
least this, you have
We know where
a
it's
safe
at.
place right in front of the jail.
Yeah, and we can
I
tell
mean,
people.
yeah, it's better than that, I
Yeah.
was just curious, whether,
Yeah.
you know, then people would call you and say, hey, you know, I'm meeting my.
They can, or what we'll do is we'll put a news release out that says, you know what I'm saying, that we've got this area, you know, use it, and that way if people do call like they do, you know what I'm saying, on a regular basis, we'll be able to tell them, hey, we've got an exchange zone out here. You know what I'm saying, just come to the exchange zone, it's on video.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? I reckon we need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
It's unanimous. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Last thing.
Oh, God.
This is the big one. I think the best
He
one.
hooked that hook
Yeah.
out there.
I'm trying to see if there's any way possible that we can look into maybe getting an online auction service to be able to auction our products off because we've been trying to have a county auction.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But we haven't been able to have it because of the fact of the COVID and all this that's going on. And we've actually got a bunch of stuff stacked up down at the old John Jones building. It needs to be gone. That's what it's stacked up down there for, is because it's, you know, it was for auction. There is a company that we've done a little bit of research on, and it's called Municibid, Municibid, Municibid. And it's just for agencies, just for government agencies. It costs us nothing to do it. They provide, and they get the fees from the buyers. It qualifies for the standards that we have to have, you know, advertised, auction, and all that kind of stuff. And what it will allow us to do is this, especially on the evidence side, is that we'll be able to auction off, you know what I'm saying, the stuff we have in evidence that we want to get rid of.
Now, you're talking about just for you?
No, it can be for the whole county. Anybody can do it, yeah. I mean, I want to do it for us,
Oh.
obviously. I can't, you know what I'm saying, well, it wouldn't be,
Yeah.
unless Tammy's got something she wants me to auction off for her, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
We
you never know.
could do
You
it,
never
you know what I'm
know.
saying?
Is there something saying that we can't do it on eBay?
Well, eBay charges us. You have to, a listing fee,
No, okay.
and you have to have
I got
like,
you.
receiving the money. This
And
municipal
I
is
don't
completely
know,
free.
With
I
government, you don't have to do it different anyway. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
When you do government, you have different.
Disposition of personal property,
Yeah.
there's state code on that, and if there's a company, what's great about the people who cater to the government entities is they've already researched all that, and they make sure that we meet the criteria. And again, they are purposefully designed, these vendors do, to provide a service that the charge goes back on the taxpayer or goes back on the person who's buying it, because it's just as if you pay your taxes online, the taxpayer gets charged the fee, not the county.
That's the
So-
same as it is here. The
Yes,
buyer
and
will get charged the fee.
Tax sales are the
So-
same way. The person who is buying the lien on the property is gonna get the fees, and the person who, if they ultimately redeem the property, they're gonna pay those fees. And the government, we're basically not paying anything but postage, which is allowable for us to do. So I'm understanding what you're saying, because, and especially in these times with COVID, and we don't wanna be a part of the problem, we wanna be a part of the solution, so,
Well, my
I can
feeling-
see where that would work quite well.
My feeling is we need to explore it a little bit more rather than just vote on it tonight, but, I'll see what
Well,
you
if
guys
you,
think.
what I was gonna ask you is if you wanna give me the approval to go ahead and kind of test the waters, I can do that, because it would be easy for like state highway, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, county highway, if they had something they wanted to sell, boom, you know what I'm saying, just put it on there and do it, whoever department head could do that, but you know what I'm saying, that's
Well,
what I
that's the
wanted.
reason I want to explore it more, because
Yeah.
I don't know if you can just up and put something on. I'm not sure you don't have to have like a date and let people show up. I don't know.
Well,
There
they
is
say.
some laws on that.
Yes, there is, and they say that, this Municipid, and look it up, it's municipid.com, you know what I'm saying, it's online. They say that they meet all state and federal requirements on the advertisements and everything that they have to do, you know, to make it legal.
And I'm assuming that they understand the value tiers that they have on the state code too, because if it's a certain dollar amount, it can be only disposed of a certain way. You know, if it's under a certain dollar amount, you can
You know,
do certain things with it, so.
as much as I like this, I kind of would like to get an attorney on board here with us before we made some moves that might have some legal repercussions. You got any thoughts, Randy, Mike?
I like the idea of it, but I do kind of agree, John, make sure we're not gonna hang ourselves somewhere or another, but I do like the idea a lot.
What I would propose is this, if you guys is okay with it, we'll do the research. I'll contact the attorney, you know what I'm saying, we'll do all that, and then that way I can come back to you and say, hey, this is what I found out. If we try it one time and it don't work, we can say, hey, we tried it, didn't work, you know what I'm saying, go back to whatever.
Well, it's February, I mean, I think we've got time. So, yeah, I'm all for you proceeding with it, but I
Gary,
would like.
what's the name of that company again?
It's called, it's called Municipal, like municipal, you know what I'm saying? But it's municipal.com.
.com.
Yeah, and you can go on there and they've got auctions, it's just like an eBay site's what it is.
Okay, all right, I'm like John, I'd like to get some more info before we do it, but, and then make sure we're, like Tammy was saying, with the State Board of Accounts, we're all right with how we're doing that, so, and I'm sure other people are doing it too, so, but, I'm gonna look on it, and Jerry, if you can get some more information, bring it back to us.
Okay, I'll do that, and I think this is the same, Jill presented this to you guys, I think back about 5-6 months ago.
She may be using it already when she's here, I don't know.
You know,
Yeah.
she, I think this is the same company, I'm not sure, but I think this was the same company, it was the same parameters, you know what I'm saying? So it may have been the same company that she was
I think
talking
they're
about.
getting from us a free hand to take a hard look at
Okay,
it.
that's what I'll do. I'll do all the research for you and I'll present it, and then if it works, it works. If it don't, we'll
We'll see what
proceed.
happens, yeah.
Okay,
Okay, I'm good.
okay. You guys got any questions for me?
That wasn't so bad.
No, it wasn't too bad, I know. So I'll have all the research by, you know what I'm saying, the February meeting.
So we're gonna have a place over at the jail, if my wife gets mad at me, we can,
Yeah, exactly.
you never know.
Yeah, you never know. So, all right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
See y'all, see you.
All righty, we have, I'm not sure who's here for this, Health Department Custodial Service Agreement.
All right, you all have that in your packet. That's the custodial agreement. I think
Okay.
it's basically just a renewal with the Hickman Cleaning Services. And I think,
Yeah. So we just need to approve this tonight? Have you got that, Mike?
Yeah, I've got it, I'll look at it, I think it's fine, it's just a renewal, I'll make a motion to accept it.
So it's just renewal, they're already doing it, we're just renewing the contract. Mike made a motion to accept. I'll make it unanimous, it's accepted. Okay? Anything else?
I
Oh.
believe that's all from, that Michelle had to send, yes.
All right, on to the next thing, the coroner's office. Come on up there, Jonathan.
Will you all
Yes,
take
ma'am.
one of those contracts and go and sign it? We'll just sign me 2 copies, both the copies that you've got, just each one of you sign it and then give it to me. If you don't mind, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. You gonna sign yours there, or you want me, we gotta sign one of these, you and I both do. This, contract, right there.
Clean it,
Just
sir.
put your name on that one.
Yeah,
On that page.
one copy will do from right now.
No, no, on the back. Flip the page.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's a virtual, but Mike agreed to that too. How does he just sign that later?
We'll sign it later.
Okay. Get a hold of it. There we go.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we got Jonathan White here, Mike. He wants to talk to some coroner's office. Go ahead, Jonathan. You're up.
We've been looking into, different places to put an office or a coroner's office.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've been looking at was a possible room at John Jones'
Yeah.
old building.
Yeah.
And, some things come to light tonight that might change that, in the future. So what I was planning on proposing tonight, I think we really need to hold off on. The proposal last week was doing it at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the next couple of weeks, we probably ought to put that off. Because Shannon's got a real good proposal, possibly for a long-term solution to it. What I'd like to have out of y'all would be permission to get some bids on what we've been looking at John Jones. It's real, gonna be real close to what we were looking at last week with the hospital project. We've got to do something sooner than later. but with-
Let me ask you a question. You and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
You took me out and showed me everything. I've only talked to Lonnie one time,
Okay,
and you're the deputy coroner, don't take that wrong.
right,
Is he on board for this, what you're wanting to do?
absolutely.
Okay, sometimes,
He was trying to get here tonight, but he broke a tooth yesterday, so
Okay.
he's at the tooth doctor today.
okay. Okay. Well, you understand where I'm coming from. The
Absolutely.
head official sometimes needs to be the one
Absolutely.
asking. Okay, so you're asking for us to put this on hold till our next meeting?
Yeah,
And,
but what I would like tonight would be your all's permission to get some bids on what we've been looking at John Jones, that what I showed you the other day. and what
You told me you had some specifications you wanted to. You got that?
That's-
Is
that's
it on
what
here?
that is.
Okay,
We're not looking for Taj Mahal, we're looking to, put up a divider wall, basically. And, if the project that Shannon's talking about was to go through, that would be a long-term solution to it.
okay, and we're talking, I haven't talked a lot to you about this, Shannon, but you're talking out the John Jones building too?
No,
No, with Jeff out there behind us for the.
Well, that's a whole new building though, right?
Correct, and that's something different, we're just looking at, I'm talking to Melissa on the grants and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And that may be a good idea, but this is something we need to do.
Right.
We are over a month behind on this already, so I mean, I don't know if Buchanan's are gonna start charging us or not, but they can, we know that. So whatever we do, I can tell you, me personally, I wanna get it over with quick.
us too.
I mean, well, I agree with that, and, so anyway, thoughts, anybody?
I got a comment,
Yeah,
and, John Lisenby,
yeah,
back last year, the 3 commissioners voted in a meeting to have the coroner's office at the hospital, signed it. Bob Tobias was the president at the time,
Yeah.
signed an MOU with the hospital, to proceed at the hospital. At our last commissioners meeting, all 3 commissioners,
We
current
did.
commissioners,
We did.
voted to send it to the council. It has been advertised currently for the last 2 weeks in the newspaper for the legal description. So, you know, I understand we have a new coroner. I understand we have a new deputy coroner. But I also understand for the last year, we've been working on this without anybody coming forward and saying, hey, you know, what's going on with the coroner's office and yada, yada, yada. Where I'm going to go with this is that a year or so ago, when I talked to Jerry Buchanan, and he told me that no funeral director was going to run for coroner, I told the council at that time, I told the commissioners at that time, this is going to be the first time in the history of Scott County that we don't have a funeral home, and we're going to have to find a space. Took Jerry Buchanan to the John Jones building at that time. We looked at a spot out there, decided, hey, that'd be a good place for it. I had a conversation with some of the councilmen. They absolutely were not on board with spending the kind of money that needed to be spent to run water, sewer, and electric to centralize that area. You just can't put up a petition wall and say, hey, well, there it is. So you have to have HVA, the standalone HVA system and everything else. So I don't know right now what, you know, is being asked. I mean, at the end of this week is the 2 weeks of advertisement. So I don't know where we go here, because you know, we've already got a plan in place that's been executed, and the only thing left here is you know, the construction part of it. So Tammy, I mean, what do we do if we've already went through all the legwork, the advertisements, the the voting in a commissioners meeting and everything else, and now we're to this point in, we got somebody else wanting to go a different direction.
We have all of the ducks in a row, so to speak, until you get to the funding portion. If it's advertised, that's basically the proposal and letting the taxpayers know what's being proposed that will be entertained at the council meeting. Council could vote this down, they could vote it up or down. Don't know what they'll do. And that would be then again, if they voted it down, then I guess you'd have to go either look for other funds that are under your control, see if there could be something done that way versus council appropriation for that purpose. My thoughts go back to the agreement, that was signed with the hospital. So I'm kind of going back there. I don't know if it was a contingent upon, or I don't know. I don't have a copy. I don't think of that agreement. But I just, you know, if it's advertised, if it doesn't get appropriated, that just ends up being a council decision, or the need disappeared. It's fine to that point. But again, once council moves on it, if they appropriate it, then your board's good to go on it. It doesn't mean you have to spend it. It's there to spend, and you've got you know, free range to spend that money for that particular purpose. So you guys can proceed regardless, if they appropriate it.
So I guess the question I have right now is to Johnny White. Johnny, do you think that you have a contractor that can build a facility that for $27,500? Because I know that everybody's been talking about $35,000, but the actual construction cost is $27,500 or $600, and the rest of it is an engineer and a state permit fee. So I guess my question is, do you have a thought that somebody can build a complete facility with plumbing and an HVAC system and everything else for that kind of money?
Mike, the part of the building we're looking at, the plumbing is already there for it. The only thing we would have to have is basically the partition wall, air ventilation system, and HVAC in the one room.
What area are you talking about?
It would be the back, what used to be the wash bay.
The very east side, all the
Yeah.
way back to the
Yeah.
back behind the door there as you go in. And
There,
At the farthest east side of the building?
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It'd be
No,
the,
there's sewer, there's a bathroom back there that has a sewer?
right.
There's already a bathroom back there, there's already an office back there. It's already about halfway laid out in the right direction for you.
and I asked some of the questions you asked earlier, Mike, about the state permits, and you tell me you've talked to this person about permits?
Yes.
Who was it, mind saying?
I didn't bring his name with me, John. I could call you with it tonight or in the morning.
Well, what'd he tell you?
A partition wall would not require a state permit.
Okay.
Basically, all we're wanting to do is put a partition wall in there so nobody has access to the coolers. And you would have another wall to where the autopsy room would be separated off the rest of it.
And you'll have a private entrance,
It's got a private entrance back there already.
so it wouldn't interfere with the sheriff or anything else?
Absolutely nothing.
How about security?
What do you mean as far as?
Well, I mean,
security,
can
John?
somebody break into it pretty easily?
I would,
I would hope not, but we know.
I would think not.
Yeah, but things happen.
So Johnny, what are you talking about doing with the overhead door?
That would be where you could back into to unload.
So you'd leave the doors there and it just look like a garage?
Absolutely.
And there wouldn't be a ceiling in it?
Not just in the part where the autopsies would be, Mike. you have to be able to condition that part of the room, the big garage
I
part.
used to be a funeral director. I know all about autopsies, so I'm just trying to picture what you're talking about, because it sounds like everybody's been there but me. So, I'm just trying to figure out what, you're talking about. So,
It'd be basically a 61-foot wall and two 16-foot walls, basically. I'd be more than happy to meet you out there, Mike, anytime you want to see what's on my mind with it. What I'd like to do is just be able to have Tammy to run an ad saying that we're going to take bids on it. An exact dollar figure, I do not know. It would be very comparable to what we're looking to spend at the hospital, and I can show you where it would be a much better working situation on us.
Does Mike have one of these?
No, I
Okay.
haven't seen him, I've got him one.
What I'm looking at, Mike, he's got a Scott County morgue estimate on specifications, and I'll just read it to you. And then Tammy can get you a copy. Is that right, Tammy? Can you get a, if he comes in?
I can make a copy. of it.
Okay.
I've got it.
Well, let me read it so he gets an idea of what's going on here. He's got it written down here. All estimates must include all HVAC mechanicals, all electrical, all ventilation, all walls and framing, and materials and labor. Walls must be constructed with 2x4 steel studs. Driver wall is approximately 61 feet long. Pole barn metal inside and outside on divider wall in all rooms. R13 or better insulation in walls in both rooms. R30 or better insulation in ceilings. 4 LED corncob lights in each of the 2 rooms, total of 8 lights. 8 receptacles, all GFI, dropped in 16-inch down from ceiling. Lights will mount to ceiling. Autopsy room requires proper ventilation. And at the very bottom, 2 4-feet interior doors. And how did you come up with all that? I mean, is this just what you and Lonnie worked on and decided that's what you gotta have to, does that, any of that come from the Coroners Association, or is this
No.
this is what,
That's,
from dealing with Jerry Buchanan, you feel like you need at least this, is that?
and we went over and looked at the morgue over in Washington County.
Yeah,
That's very, very similar to how she's got hers laid out. The only thing I've done different was I put a divider wall between the room the cooler's in and the room you would do the autopsies in.
yeah. Well, we'll say, and I've mentioned this a minute or two, and I've talked to Lonnie earlier about this, and Lonnie was very cooperative, and he's
Oh,
like, put me
absolutely.
anywhere you wanna go, I'll be happy, I won't complain. And that's why I say I wanna make sure Lonnie's in agreement on this, and, you get where we're going here, I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna spend a lot of money. We
yeah,
don't wanna spend a lot of money.
yeah, well, I think we all agree we don't wanna spend any money.
One thing I'd like to bring up about this is, what I do like about it. I like it that it's in our own building.
Yeah,
And I like it that while, it being in our own building, it's in case Scott County grows. I know some people think it can't, but if it does, it's got room to add on additionally where it's at without anybody else's, permission or anything else. I like the idea that it's got room to grow out there. And hopefully, we will grow and it will need to be grown.
okay.
Because and nobody's told me any different, but I'm curious about the cooler only holding 3 people at the moment.
Which may be some people from the hospital,
Yeah,
yeah.
well.
I know this much, when we've discussed this, if we wait 2 weeks, that means the council have a meeting before we have our next meeting. So if they vote, they can still vote yes, and it may be there no matter which way we want to go. But if I suspect they probably will vote no, just because they'll want more concrete ideas where we're going. And then we're talking into March before we get moving on this, unless they call a special meeting. Would that be correct? So we're kicking this down the road. So, but I'm like you, I want to do what's best for everybody involved, so. Any other, I mean, I'm just talking out loud now, everybody. Anybody got any other thoughts before we decide what we wanna do here?
Well, again, I guess I'm gonna agree with, wanting it at a county facility. Again, the history here, I can quote it. I've done the legwork here, for over a year. And no one else had a word to say except the council when I went to them with a figure to isolate a space out there for the coroner, and they wouldn't entertain spending the money. So,
And they may not this time, yeah.
well, the thing about it is, I mean, that's exactly right. They may not again.
Yeah.
But in a perfect world, that would be a great idea, because that was the original idea, was to stay in the John Jones building. But the council said absolutely no on the money. And I don't know the council's any more richer today than they were a year ago. So I don't know what we're doing here as far as, at the ninth hour, I guess I should say, we're going to start going to get bids for a different project when we're weeks away from finishing the project we've been doing for over a year.
And you have worked on it hard for a year. We've discussed it, and I looked into the possibility of trying to get it into one of the nursing homes, and if I remember right, nobody wanted it. And the 27,000 or 35,000, whatever it is, if we'll pay more than that in rent somewhere if we go somewhere over 4 years.
Oh, I guarantee it.
So and you've worked at it. I got to give you credit on that one. But this has come up, and I can just tell you, if we put it off, I'm not going to put it off after the next meeting. I mean, it's going to be one way or the other, get it over with. For my vote, because and even if the council turns this down, I got a feeling somewhere along the line they're going to find some place to put their bodies, and we're going to be paying regardless. The bills will be coming in, and so we need to get it done one way or the other. So, any other thoughts, or what do you want to do?
Mike, you asked about the numbers. The only numbers I have so far is what I have put together myself. Construction's what I've done for many years. All I'm asking for is a chance to present it to some other contractors and let them put some numbers together. I believe we're going to be real close to where you want to be. And if not, I'll shut my mouth and never say another word about it.
And I've been aiming to talk to Jerry about McCann myself, and I haven't done it either. I have a few months ago I did, but
I can
recently.
show you all the reasons why I believe the John Jones building would be a better situation for us. If this other stuff works out, that would be a short-term solution. But we have to do something now.
And I understand that, but when we do this, we're kicking it down the road to March. So as long as we all understand where we are here, we're talking another month. And that's what you want to do. But Lonnie's blessing.
Actually, right here, John, I want to
Okay.
ask one.
Go ahead.
I think the question's been asked, but I'm going to ask it again because I know none of us were here when we bought the John Jones building and the health department went up front. Because I know, talking to councilmen, that was under the impression that there was a contractor came in, gave him a quote, and that quote was for putting up walls and fixing doors and making different offices different ways. And guess what? The state came in and said you can't do that. That it has to be all under state code, and it costs them a bunch more money. So I want, before I'd ever say yes, I want to see in writing somebody from the state officials say exactly that we're not going to need to be by state guidelines by putting a petition up.
And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
We was asking that a minute ago, and he said he talked to this guy, but didn't have any paperwork.
No, I just talked to him on the phone.
And I'm like you, I want something on paper to say what we can, you know. I know we looked a while back, Mike was looking real hard about possibility of moving another department out there, and it was a ton of money. So I understand where he's at. This may,
Me too, me too.
okay,
What they told me, Mike, was the reason was, it was so bad in the first place was you were converting a car dealership into a medical facility. This is a coroner's office and a health department.
We're not in a health department, we're in a garage with it, and you just said it's a wash bay.
it is.
That's
not
what
a
it
health
was.
department. It's not a health department anymore. The health department's only in the front end of the building.
Well,
Maybe they don't make that distinction, Mike, I don't know, I just asked a question and that was the answer I was given.
I don't wanna argue this point, but I'm not trying to upset you or anything, but you've got 2 bays on into that health department that you drive through.
Yeah, what they got to do with anything? They got a drive-through.
Okay, well, that's the same thing you just were talking about, right? I mean, you're saying.
No, what sounds like Johnny's done is called up there and said, hey, we got a Scott County Health Department here, and we're gonna build a coroner's office on it. And that's not true. We got the rest of the building is a warehouse or used to be a garage. I mean, it's still got lifts in it and everything else. So a portion of that building is you're right, it is with the health department. But I think what you're trying to do is establish that the whole building is the health department, and that's why you don't have to have another state permit. You can do whatever you want, but that's why I say I want a letter from a state inspector or state code enforcement guy that says we can do that. If we can't, I don't want to get into a project here that you know is going to cost X amount of dollars, and then all of a sudden the state steps in and goes, that's not what you told us, and here's what it's going to cost you now.
I can do that in the morning, Mike. I'll call back up there and talk to him, see what he can't fax me or email me or something. But no, he was quite familiar with the project. He's the one that told me the problem before is it was a car dealership and now it's a health department. But yeah, I don't mind a bit to call up there and talk to him in the morning. Last time I called up there, it took him 2 days to call me back, so, I mean, I might not get a call back tomorrow, but I'll be more than happy to call him.
And there ain't, you know, Mike, you and I, we can make them calls too. I mean.
Well, I'm going to make a call.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
I don't want to be caught with my pants down.
Yeah.
With somebody saying it's going to cost you X, Y, Z, and then find out later, oh, wait a minute, you misled us, and it's a warehouse or a wash bay in the old part of a car lot or car business, and it's not the health department, it's not the area that's in the health department, and you just can't distinguish the whole building being the health department now.
Mike,
I'm gonna make some calls as well, but you know, right now, I mean, I don't know what anybody wants. I mean, so I'll leave it at that. So I don't, you know, I'm gonna make some calls and verify some information.
Mike, this is a question, okay, because I don't know. So the garage, the 2 bays that's on the end of the health department, that's not considered the health department?
That is correct. The health department has a office space, some conference rooms, and we gave them 2 bays to park a trailer, and also to have a drive-through flu shot area. So yes, they have 2 bays that are connected to theirs, but there is a partition wall between that and the rest of the building.
Yeah, the bays are theirs, but, so what you're saying is technically, when you guys had that permits done, the permit stopped it at their partition wall?
That's correct. That wall does not have a door out into the rest of the building.
Gotcha, okay.
And Mike, he very well, when I called up there and talked to him the other day, he very well might not have knew that. I mean, he seemed very familiar with the project. And,
Okay.
if you wanna call me in the morning, I'll give you his contact information, and I'll call him myself.
You know, I don't have a whole lot of reason why we couldn't have this resolved by this Friday. We could, it might be too late to call a special meeting if we wanted to get this done, but, I mean, we could have a joint with the council, couldn't we?
Well,
You-
So we can resolve it quick.
I mean, the council meets at 9:30 on Tuesday. I've got time to advertise if you guys wanted to have a meeting after their meeting.
would that give anybody any time to get him bids?
No, it wouldn't. But it'd give us time to find out what this guy from the state thinks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we would know by Friday going whether or not we can.
And I'm not doubting you, Johnny, but it's always that, trust and verify thing.
Well, and sometimes you can get a guy to tell you something over the phone that won't tell you it in writing.
Yeah, and then he'll write it down, then tell you he didn't do it, yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand Mike 100% on that.
I
I wish I would have asked him the other day if he could have sent me something
Yeah.
but he didn't. So,
Well, no matter what we do, there'll be somebody say we should have done something else.
absolutely.
But I wanna get it over with. I just wanna get it beyond us, so. Let's
Hey,
do
John?
something. Yeah,
Why the coroner, or deputy coroner sitting there?
yeah,
Well, no, all right, I'll save it for a later day.
okay. Where we at?
Well, I think we can go to Friday, find out whether or not this guy will give us something in writing, if that's the case, and
Okay.
we go for the bids.
So okay, I wanna make sure I'm doing this right.
I just wanna, if we're gonna take bids, I want everybody to have a fair shot at the bid.
And I'm all for that process and also, but I wanna get it over quick. So,
Right.
So what's your motion?
I make a motion to go with what we just talked about. Go ahead and let's see if we can get
To put this off?
put it off, see if we can get a writing and on that guy, or something in writing, and,
Until when?
next.
Next meeting or what?
Let's see, we have our
Like I said,
next
council meets
meeting's on the
next Tuesday.
17th.
Well, the council meets Tuesday.
Do we have any executive meetings coming up?
We might, on the 17th, we might.
It depends on, we've got down on the agenda to schedule for interviews.
Mhm.
We could have an open meeting as long as I've got the 48 hours to post.
Next week.
You could have it before or after your executives,
Mhm.
wherever you set, decide to interview for the highway supervisor.
Okay, what day were we looking at on,
I think Mike threw out the 8th and 9th
was that what you said, Mike, 8th or 9th?
for interviews.
8th or 9th or what?
Interviews.
I'm sorry.
Highway department,
Yeah,
Yes, I'd like it next week as soon as possible.
yeah. Well, I think what he's asking is we could have a meeting that day too, if we needed to.
to find out whether or not this guy says that we can do this without,
Doing anything, permits.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
So in other words, if this is put off for a while, he's wanting to try to do it, have a meeting next week, the same day we have interviews for the highway department. Tammy says she can give us a notice on that or get it advertised. But that would also be after the council meeting, wouldn't it?
Council's at 9:30 on Tuesday.
Same day?
Tuesday.
Okay.
So you guys usually do your interviews at
on
5.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the afternoon, so.
All right. There's a motion made to put this on hold and hopefully have a meeting next Tuesday. But that would, this is not working very well. This is-
Monday,
Monday, I'm sorry.
yeah, Monday.
She said she can get it advertised and we could have this resolved by Monday. Is that correct? We want this all done by Monday, so if we want to proceed with the way Mike's going, we just say it's done, over with, or have something else.
I'm sorry. So on Monday, we're gonna talk about, find out whether or not that guy's gonna, put us something in writing that says we don't have to to go through all
Yep,
that.
yep.
And then if he says that, and we have that in writing, then we're gonna go to the 17th so we can have bids.
So let's get this straight. We're wanting to put this off till Monday, have a meeting Monday before the council meets, and one way or the other, it's gonna be over.
Well, we'll know which direction we're going.
That's correct. Okay. You get that, Mike? I know that's a little convoluted.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Against my better judgment, I'm gonna give them the opportunity to get an answer.
Okay.
But, I don't see where they're going to, I don't see how they're gonna fund it. I mean, I don't see how they're gonna get it, but I'm gonna be open to, listen to it, but, you know, I don't know where they've been for the last year, I guess is where I'm coming from, so, there's been open meetings for the last year about it, and nobody said a word, and now all of a sudden in the 9th hour, somebody wants to recreate the wheel, so. And I have had the conversations with Johnny about multiple times and explained multiple times why, we're not at the John Jones building. It was the previous council would not spend the money. So, good luck with that, so, but I'm gonna lean on the side of, I'm gonna wait a week, I guess, or a few days.
Actually, Monday's when we're wanting to have a meeting.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll wait till, Monday and then, I'll hear from them, whether, what we can do, and I don't have a problem waiting, to see what somebody's quote comes in. But the issue is finding the money. And being at the hospital is the most, cost-efficient way we can have a coroner's office right now. And that's just been the way it's been for the last year, so I'll give them the week or whatever they're asking for, but, after that, I'm gonna make a decision.
I'm with you. I wanna get it over with. Good, bad, or ugly. So, you second that, I think, Mike, is that correct?
Reluctantly, I'll second that.
Okay, and I'll make that unanimous, and also, now, we want to have a meeting Monday, so you think we can have some answers Monday, Jonathan?
I'll make a
I mean-
phone call first thing in the morning.
Okay, we need, if we could do this Monday, we can get it out of the way and then give the council directions. Okay?
I'd go home and make a call.
Anything else I'm
now.
missing?
I think it's too
So
late.
he knows while you guys are here, do you guys wanna go ahead and set your open meeting? If you usually start interviews at 5, do you want a 4:30 open?
I think that'd be a good idea, to come in early, or even 4 o'clock
Is
before
that
that
good
goes.
with him?
Mike, you good with 4:30 on Monday?
Yes, but I think, Tammy, weren't we talking about having an executive session with the EMS advisory board earlier?
I think we're gonna do that, more like the 17th.
All
I
right,
think that's when they can come.
All right, that's fine.
All right, so Monday at 4:30?
Open meeting.
All right, there's where we are. Thank you,
Done with
sir.
me?
All right, thanks, sir. I'd like to have Lonnie here.
He was gonna try to.
I know
make it,
that,
he
but
was
I
on
think
his
it's
way
important to
get
have
this.
I think it's important to have the department head in on these things. All right,
John, just for the record, I talked to Lonnie prior to this meeting, and he does have a dentist appointment, but
yeah.
he said that, he'd go wherever the commissioners found a place for us.
And that's kind of what he's told me too, and I get that, but, you know, usually it's department heads come and ask him, but I get that, you're right. All right, let's go on. EMS update, ratified 2021 fuel price with Premier, consideration of claims payment from the CARES Fund. Come on in, big guy.
Yes.
Shannon's here, just in case you're curious.
Yeah. So basically, we're just ratifying. I talked to all three of you about fuel prices. We locked it in for 2021
Yeah,
until December. We purchased 7,000 of diesel and 7,000 of gasoline, securing our price in case it goes up the rest of the year. So that way, we're taking the tax off the front. We're not getting charged road tax on the front end, where we're having to get it off the back end is what we're doing now. So we know what the price is gonna be straight up.
you're locking in the prices in case the
Yeah,
price
and
goes
they
up.
are looking at going to $5 a gallon.
Yeah.
So
I hope they're wrong, but we'll
I
be
do too.
prepared, right?
Correct. And that's for 7,000 gallons.
What did you what's the price per gallon you locked in there?
And you guys have a copy, I think, in your packet, right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
John, yours is on top right there.
Yeah.
So just let you guys know, you know, you see what it is. Right now,
Terms contract for 7,000 gallons at $2.72 a gallon?
we're not paying that right now.
No, I mean, that's what we're contracting for though.
Correct.
Why?
Well, if it goes up,
I mean, no, why wouldn't we
well, when you
pay?
flip
I
it
mean,
back,
uptown, we're paying $2.45.
no, I know that when you flip it back though, we're taking the tax off of that later on back in there.
Okay,
That's diesel too.
And that's diesel.
okay.
So gasoline.
$2.48 a gallon for regular gas,
Correct.
okay.
Correct. So the tax is coming off the front end versus the back end where we've been doing it in the past,
Okay.
not getting it at the gas stations. So now we're saving ourselves on the front end versus the back end. Make sense?
Yeah. I know what you're doing. We used to do it with police cars.
Right.
Same
So it's a little bit different as far as doing police and county highway compared to
Okay.
what it was as well.
Alright.
So basically what we're doing here with the ratification is making sure you know exactly how much we've paid out on the disbursements for, CARES Act and redevelopment funds.
And that's gonna be a separate motion for them. If they don't mind, to ratify the fuel agreement from Premier, for the diesel and the unleaded for EMS that was signed on 1/27.
Well, let me ask you, I'm gonna ask a question again on this Premier thing. I mean, I see the prices, and I don't have any beef with all that. What if the price goes down?
Then we pay the price that we're paying it when it goes down.
So this is
We
just,
can't-
this is the maximum we'll have to pay?
Correct.
Okay.
That's the
So if
maximum
it goes down
we'll
to
pay.
$2, we'll pay $2. All right,
Correct.
thank you.
Because right now we're paying $2.28 a gallon.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah,
I think that makes sense, just
right.
asking the obvious
No,
questions sometimes.
Because when I did the projections on the fuel for 7,000 gallons at the price that we're going at,
Yeah,
that makes my fuel budget go from 40,000 to 80,000.
yeah.
And I'm trying to prevent us from spending that kind of money. for
Now,
the same amount of
7,000
fuel.
gallons, how long will that get you by?
That should get us through 7 months, or 6 months.
Okay,
So, but it says for till December 31st of 2020,
yeah,
21.
yeah, yeah.
So that way we're good for the whole year. It's
Okay.
just, we just purchased 7,000 because I didn't want to commit to full 14,000 because I know I'm not going to use that much on the
right.
gasoline side possibly.
All right, okay,
So we stay in contract with them.
Yeah, we stay in contract, we just buy more fuel at that
Right.
particular price.
okay, I just want to understand it, I want to make
No, no,
sure,
you're
I want
fine.
to make sure if gas went down to $2, we
Yeah.
weren't paying $2.48 a
No,
gallon.
no.
Yeah.
We're paying 228 a gallon right now.
Okay. Do you need us to agree to that, or is that just something you've
We just need
already?
to ratify it because you guys signed it. I talked to you on the phone. Mike come in and signed it.
Yeah,
I just need you guys to go ahead and ratify it and take your vote.
Make a motion.
motion made, you want a second, or you want me to, Mike?
I'll second it.
Unanimous. There you go, thank you, sir, I hate to bug you, but I gotta
No,
ask
no, no.
questions.
I want you to ask the questions.
All
So
right.
the second part is the redevelopment CARES Act money. You guys have those receipts in front of you.
Yeah.
Basically, we just went through to clean up the books on Teresa's end, as well as Tammy having all that stuff.
And I've got a summary page. Mike, did you see that email I just sent you?
No, I'll look at it later.
Okay, that was, a summary for what we're getting ready to look at here with all the claims. And I think I took all my pages.
And that's, all this is doing is just
Is
shooting.
this on the redevelopment?
This is redevelopment, CARES Act, monies that we received from the council and redevelopment from the redevelopment committee. So basically, all this is
So
just
this-
telling you where it's going.
And the
So
total, yeah,
this is a total, printout of everything that you guys use money through the CARES Act or TIF or redevelopment,
Correct,
correct?
correct. And we also have a running tally of how much we have left in those accounts.
Okay, all right. Actually, I appreciate that because that's one thing I was gonna ask you for,
Correct,
so.
correct. So now we actually have, we know how much is outstanding on both of those accounts. We've made it more streamlined. I had an account, Tammy had an account number, but now we've just lined them up with actual line items for the council. And they can see exactly where that money's went, also with redevelopment as well. So we just
Yeah,
We just
I
cleaned it up.
appreciate that. That's actually what I was looking to ask you.
Right, and
tonight.
I had, I basically had a pretty good idea where we were at, but this gives the 100%, makes us in line with the State Board of Accounts and all that kind of stuff, which is what we needed to do to begin with.
So we need to,
So basically, I'm making, you guys need to make a motion to go ahead and, so we can process those
Okay.
and get those people paid.
get them to
Make a
her.
motion.
Yeah, and those will be paid out on Friday, Mike. Mandy will be working on those tomorrow and have them sent out on Friday.
Okay.
Now, none of this has the emitters in it, does it?
No, sir.
Okay.
No. That's
Thank
a different
Mr.
project. I'm not even, I just got bid prices on that today from the
And
state
nothing's been
contract.
done on that,
No,
except for
sir.
just looking into it.
The Scottsboro Mayor's office has contacted me. They are wanting to go that direction. I have to get the numbers.
Yeah.
I do have some solid numbers today. I also have to talk to Austin. The primary price of that would be $135,000. That's for every stoplight in the city of Scottsburg and Austin.
But who all does that include? Your department?
It would be for anybody.
No, I mean, how the fire department's gonna pay for theirs is what I'm going.
They just have to put them on their trucks. This is just
So you're gonna pay for them, or have them paid for it,
for the stoplights. This is just for the stoplight materials.
okay.
So if
It's
Scottsburg,
$1,000 a vehicle, John, so.
yeah, it is 1,000 a vehicle,
And then I'm asking again, the fire department needs some way to come up with money to,
correct.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and that's whenever you have a truck built, it can be included in that where they can put on
Yeah.
after they've had it done. So it's an add-on as well.
I like it, I just don't wanna have half the people use it and half not.
And I talked to DA Drew, or HG Drew, state contractor. He was going on the high end at $15,000 per stoplight.
Mhm.
So it actually might be cheaper than that per stoplight, but at the maximum, it would be 15,000.
And that will be paid for out of,
Well, that's what we're looking
or,
for.
okay, we're just,
Grants.
we're still
Right.
exploring.
Yeah, and also I'm looking with, working with Melissa on FEMA grants as well as USDA grants and IDHS grants. So we are looking at 3 different ways to get more money. Not for me so much, because I know I have 2 projects I want to do, but for EMA, dispatch, and the fire departments in the county, if we can get them extra money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the whole point of getting these FEMA fire department grants.
And I know I took us off topic asking about that.
No.
What you need right now is for us to pass all these accounts payable vouchers.
And the total sheet I gave you right there.
Yes.
I had those originally with the packet that I sent Mike, where I drew the line there. And then, later today, Pat brought me the others, so we had to throw a summary sheet together real quickly.
Yeah.
But the total is 431,005.07.
Yep.
And that just needs proof so you can make.
So we can
arrangements.
make the payments,
Okay.
because he started.
I'll make a
buying
motion to accept the claim.
Any second? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Only other, 2 other things
ahead.
real quick. We applied for a grant from DHS for foggers for the ambulance. And
Yeah.
basically what that is for COVID-19. Doesn't cost us a dime. This stuff's coming to us free from the state. I'll just have the paperwork downloaded for Tammy and I to fill out, that we have been awarded that. As soon as we get the paperwork, we get the equipment. So no cost to us. It was just a last minute grant from the state on the EMS side. The last thing, the forester showed up yesterday. We have about 20 trees on the property that needs to be cut because they've either been struck by lightning. They're showing degradation up in the tops and they need to come down. So that, again, I'm just letting you guys know, State of Indiana come in, made their recommendations on cutting those trees. Now, is any of those worthy of, for logging? Probably not, because they are dead or they've been struck with lightning and are having issues. So with that said, if you guys want to cut that, make it firewood for people in the county that are having hard times and need the wood, then we'll make that happen.
Phil's gonna cut some of that, right?
Phil is gonna cut some of that. There is a couple trees on the hospital's property. They're okay with us dropping those trees. They have no problem with that at all.
What's the, I'm sorry, I haven't drove by and looked at them, but
So basically, it's,
Trees.
we have some, pin oak trees, we have some, red maple trees, there are some persimmons, and there is some, sweet gum trees that need to be dropped.
Okay.
It's just property we own. How many acres out there we
There's,
own?
according to the sheet, there's 11.2 acres there, so about 5.6 acres is what would be cut.
And we mow it and clean it up every year we have to,
And their recommendation is to stop mowing it.
okay?
The recommendation is only to mow the fence line on the south end of the property and the power line, underneath the power line as well. That would be the only things that would be mowed.
Whose recommendation? Who recommended that?
The state forestry,
Okay,
the state
all
forester.
right.
Reason why that's becoming a, area to hold water, we can go and get trees from the state of Indiana, plant those. They'll start soaking up the water. We'll have less problems with water, more vegetation enhancements, and we'll be able to make it a wildlife plot.
And that might be good. I just know I had to
The
listen,
hospital-
I had to listen all summer to all the people who lived over in that area.
Right, and I
About
talked,
varmints.
and talking to the hospital, they're willing to do that as well.
Okay,
On their 5.5 acres that's wooded back there.
okay.
My only concern was,
Sorry?
my only concern was the species, because I didn't wanna give somebody, you know, a bunch of pine, and they burn their house down. And
Yeah,
No, there's only one pine tree on the place, the rest of them are pretty much, cedar trees, and they're not that big yet. We know we have 7 or 8 deer that comes in there, we know we have a population of skunk, and we know we have a population of birds. We have a bunch of trees with poison ivy that's been there for quite a while. She says that that should stay, they don't want that cut, because that actually helps with the bird species of coming in there, and it's probably about a 60 to 70-year-old stand of poison ivy they want left.
how would we cut it down and give it to, like, OEO?
That would be divvied out between you guys and the township trustees.
usually trustees, probably usually needs it.
Okay.
They go, and my understanding is they would go to the trustee, say, hey, I need wood.
And Danny, the trustee,
Right.
works for him back out
Yeah,
Lexington.
and
He
he-
had some people needed it, actually.
Yeah, he still has about 4 or 5 people that's needing wood
Yeah.
that heats their house. So we're just trying to find the means to get rid of the wood. The hospital will have to pay to get rid of it. Now we don't have to pay to get rid of it. We can get it
Right.
out of there, make the wood safe, make the area a lot safer for the public to come out there if they wanted to walk around.
Good.
They abandoned, the hospital abandoned their process of making that a walking trail in there. So now we can go ahead and we can plant trees. She recommended certain kinds of trees to put in there. So we can go to Bologna and get those free of charge to the county. And we can plant those in there. We have some invasive species in there as far as plant life, but we can go in there and take care of that, and that's not a big deal. Minimal impact to the area. So that's all I got.
Doing a good job, buddy.
Thank you, man. See ya.
I'll talk to you.
Yep.
Thank you. Was there anything you wanted to ask him, Mike? He got up.
No, I just was asking, I was gonna ask him tonight about that, report, and it sounds like he's already done it, so that's all I was gonna ask, where all the money was going.
All right, thank you.
I'm a money guy, I wanna know where the money's spent.
Yeah, I do too. I agree with you. Next on the agenda, 2021 personnel policies for employee COVID-19 absences. We've had some. I haven't had a hard look at this, so what do we got here?
Mike had-
Actually-
Yeah,
Actually, I reached out to Tammy and asked her to, reach out and try to find out what the state was doing and the feds were doing for 2021. I do know, and I hate to keep preaching this, but I have meetings with other commissioners around the surrounding counties, and they all continued their 2020 COVID plans into 2021. So I asked Tammy to reach out and see, get some sort of plan together so that we can continue to try to pay our employees when they succumb to COVID or they have to be quarantined. And I know we've had probably 4 or 5 people since the first of the year that have been in that situation. So what I've asked Tammy to do, and this is my thought, is that, again, just like we did last year when we shut the courthouse down and said, hey, you know, those departments have already budgeted their salaries and pay for those employees throughout the year. 2021 is no different. So I just believe that since we have already budgeted for their 2 weeks, that they had been off for COVID, that why don't we just go ahead and pay them? And that's kind of what this falls into. It's kind of like the 2020 COVID pay. We're going to kind of roll it in, or I think the proposal is that 2021 we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fund the 2 weeks and the 2 weeks only, or up to 80 hours, I think. Isn't that right, Tammy?
Yes, and then, I highlighted a lot of things in the yellow, or it's probably in gray on your all's copy, that I went through June 30th. Again, the state and federal, they're not doing anything at this point, and we don't know what the FFCRA guidelines, if there will be any that come out with any subsequent stimulus packages or CARES Acts that they'll do for 2021. But this will give the employee only, since I don't know what the FFCRA guidelines, if there will be any, or what they're gonna do, they were more extensive than this, but this covers our employee for COVID-related absences for themselves, whether they're either quarantined or they're actually ill from it. Gives them up to an 80-hour paycheck if they're an 80-hour-week employee. We have 70-hour people, and even covers part-time, because last year's plan covered part-time people as well. So if they work 28 hours a week typically, they'll get 2 weeks of 28 hours of pay if they are up to that much time being required to be off from work due to COVID. And on our office, we run it as cumulative. So for example, if you go on vacation and catch COVID the first day you're there, okay, and you're starting your quarantine, and you come back and you just have to miss 2 days of work, then you just take 2 days. We run a cumulative total. And you don't, it's not all or nothing. And then you still have another up to 8 days of pay later on. And then you can elect to not use it if it's 2 days, and I'll just take my PTO and I'll save it, because I might actually get quarantined later and want that. So it's very flexible, but very geared towards covering the employees for these, at least one major COVID quarantine or related absence, to keep them from having to use their PTO. And then the pay policy that's attached to this gives the council and commissioners a permission to pay them that, and anybody who during this short time frame for the payroll periods through February 6th, I think it was, will get their PTO back. So basically we paid them, but we'll just give them their credit back on their PTO if it was a COVID related absence.
Okay. So,
We want to go ahead and vote on
you
this?
looked at this and like it?
And that, I took the policy that we had and I scaled it back. The policy we had in 2020.
Okay.
So this is based off of what we did last year. It's just scaled back to the employee only. This isn't about childcare. It's not about closings or anything like that. It's not about caring for someone who has COVID in your household and being authorized to be off. But this is emergency medical leave due to COVID.
And this helps keep our people paid.
Keeps our people paid.
Yeah. Any more discussion?
No, I agree with.
It's your thing, Mike. What do you think?
Well, that's exactly what I wanted, because like I said, I've had probably 3 of those 4 people call me and say, am I going to get paid?
Yeah.
And at the time, the federal government hadn't came back with a COVID relief, like they did in 2020. I think they will, but right now they're all playing politics up there. But I think they will do that. And even if they don't, we're not losing money, or we're not having to go find the money. The money's already been budgeted. So I say pay the employees and keep. We got good employees, and we just need to keep them.
You wanna make that, go ahead.
I just think it's the right thing to do.
We need a motion.
I make a motion.
Motion made, second, unanimous.
Okay, now this will have to go to council. So this will be pressed on to the night's meeting, okay? Because both boards have to approve personnel policy.
Did you hear that, Mike? It's gotta go to the council before it's enacted.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
And this is going to be retroactive, so anybody back to January 1 that has COVID or has been quarantined because of COVID will be paid, or they'll receive their pay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's passed. Payroll ratification for January 29th, consideration of the minutes. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to ratify.
Yeah, okay, unanimous, that passes. We'll need to sign it here in a minute. Highway supervisor candidate interviews, that's planned for,
Was that payroll only though? Did he? wanna do
payroll
minutes?
ratification for January 29th and consideration of the December 30
Okay,
minutes.
how about the minutes then?
Okay,
I'll make a motion on the minutes too.
Yeah.
unanimous.
Thank you.
Now, what are we gonna do on the supervisor candidates? That's the interview. We got that already lined out, kinda, don't we?
Do you, 5 o'clock
I think we
on the
need
8th?
to, Monday or whenever Tammy can set it up.
And I put another application in your all's box,
Oh, really?
okay?
I didn't know.
So I've got them for you too at
Okay.
the meeting, but Mike's got his envelope here.
Okay,
Okay,
so what
so-
time we doing this Monday?
I need to, do we call everybody? Cause see, I need to know.
You wanna do them all,
Monday.
Mike, or 6 of them? We wanna do them all one night and get it over with, or you wanna split it up?
We usually split it if there's that many.
I think if we're gonna do 6, I think we need to split it, do 3 and 3.
Okay. So we wanna do 3 of them Monday then?
Yes, I'd say 3 Monday and 3 Tuesday, if that's fine with everybody.
That's good with me. What time?
Okay, we have open meeting at 4:30 on Monday now. We'll start 5 o'clock, executive interviews for who we can get the first 3 here.
Yeah.
And then on Tuesday, 5 o'clock again, I can post it all at the same time.
Whatever time you guys wanna do it, 5 o'clock or whatever.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get this over with quick too. I don't like to, I think you guys are like me. You wanna get somebody down there and get it over with. And also, when we did
I agree.
it, yeah, county, go
We
ahead.
gotta do your monthly claims. I think we skipped them.
Yeah, monthly claims. We've already passed that, haven't we?
No, that's the big book. That's the one you guys got, you get.
Payroll
sent
claims
underneath.
or commissioners claim approval.
Yeah, your January.
Everybody read their claims we got on the internet? Everybody
Yeah,
happy with that?
Yes,
You make a motion, Randy?
I'll make a motion.
Mike?
Second.
Unanimous. There you go.
Thank you.
We also, and I talked about the supervisor interview, we also need to, I suppose that same executive session, maybe talk about the attorney appointments, is that correct?
Well, that's the next thing to talk to you about. I've got I sent Mike the letter and I drafted a letter with a list of attorneys.
Yeah, I got that.
And I'm kinda suggesting that we do the advertisement and send these letters, because if you advertise, you don't really explain that our county attorney's retiring.
Yeah,
You know, we've had a long-standing relationship. They don't get that in that advertisement.
yeah,
So I figured if we sent some letters of, hopefully getting some interest from, and I had one of the gals in my office go through our local attorneys, and I wanna make sure that every Scott County attorney is on that list especially, and then the others were more like from their specialty. She pulled it if there's, government, corporate law,
Yeah.
that business relations. So she pulled the ones, we're not looking for bankruptcy and divorce proceedings, nothing like that. So she gave that list, so if you guys wanna review that list, add, strike, whatever you want on there, we'll send the letters from our department for you guys, okay? If you're interested in any or all of those, we'll reach out, and then I can put an ad in the paper as well.
and we could have you answered by Monday on this.
Oh, yeah,
How to
yeah,
proceed
you
on
can
it.
bring your list back to me, and then we'll do whatever we need to there.
So I
But-
think what you're telling us, we just need to study this a little bit.
Study the letter, see if there's something else you wanna say,
Yeah,
or something you wanna get rid of in that letter, and let me know Monday.
and you know Monday how to proceed with it.
Yes.
Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
You okay,
I'm
Mike?
good. I'm good with that.
All right, that's done. FMLA approval.
I've got one.
Okay. Mike got his?
I actually looked at it, I'm good with it.
Okay.
We kinda, yeah, rubber stamp.
You got it, Randy?
No, you have to, I don't send those usually out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just look at it in a folder.
Yeah. You don't need it signed, though, do you? You just need it approved. Mike, you've already approved it, right?
Prove what? The FMLA?
Yes, sir.
He's motion.
Yes, I'm good with that.
Second?
Yep.
Unanimous. Unless somebody else has anything else to go on, this meeting can be concluded. Any other information before we
I do.
Tammy is gonna keep us going, go ahead.
Happy over here. Community Foundation webinar.
Yes,
I think you guys probably got a letter, an email from Jamie Topi
yes,
regarding her study. You all had, or do have books that you picked up, hard copies in your mailboxes.
yeah,
That webinar invitation is the 10th. So if you can attend that, because she's gonna come to a meeting later, probably in March, and do a follow-up discussion with you guys for a little bit if you had any questions or whatnot. She's gonna, but she would love for you all to join that webinar, and then hopefully they'll tape it, and if you can't meet at that time, you can view it later, and that way be prepared for her when she comes to meeting.
and I think we all got their hard copy of the,
You got a booklet, yes.
yeah, I got mine, so. You got yours, Randy? Something, you can study it.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Okay.
All right, anything else? Mike, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, we'll conclude this meeting, it's over.
Motion to
Thank you.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Randy, you made a motion, Mike, you seconded it, right?
Good night, Charlie.
Thank you.
Okay, let me turn.